3, 2, 1.
今夜もミュージック君へのラッキー笑い合って抱き合って幸せにほらなれるように
Introduce the episode, coward.
Okay, your pick.
fucking-
You introduce the episode.
well- No, what always introduces the episode?
No,
Hey
it's
guys,
your pick.
it is me, Craftsdwarf, and welcome to another episode of the Weeb Club. Today we are talking about one of Craftsdwarf's favorite anime. It's called Chihayafuru. Everybody clap.
I don't know why we clap, but yeah, Chihayafuru is good.
I'm not clapping for Craftsdwarf.
Wow, toxic
so-
friend Vindy.
Next time is what's pick?
Yeah, I can't wait
So,
to downgrade.
Nozaki-kun?
Yeah, Monthly Girls.
Something Nozaki-kun, I don't fucking know.
Gekkan Shoujo Nozaki-kun or Monthly Girls Nozaki-kun. It is an anime about a guy who writes shoujo manga, and it's one of those shows that everybody goes Unga Bunga deconstruction. So I can't wait to just fucking kill
Say
myself.
it's good, decent, yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait to. What I'm saying is, I can't wait to downgrade from this show that we're talking about right now, because
Well,
Chihayafuru is a good show.
Yep.
Fuck Craftsdwarf for picking the show that made me cry at least once every episode. Fuck him, if I'm being honest.
Look. What did you expect?
Like, it is okay. So, there are two things that I've noticed over the years that I've come to enjoy more than other things. One of them is like crybaby girly shows, like Kimi ni Toroke or Ore Monogatari or shows like that, josei shoujo kind of shows, right? Or stories. And the other one is sports series. So,
Shut up, Vindy.
dumbass Craftsdwarf picked the show that was both of the things that lately I've just liked nonstop, and I hate him for it because every episode I was crying.
Yeah,
like a
see, I
baby.
didn't. I just picked it because I want to rewatch all my favorites, and so my thing with Chihayafuru is I love season 1. I think it makes a lot of great changes from the manga. Season 2, I think is still really good. I just don't think it's as good as the manga material because of due to some sort of production things. Season 3, I'd say, is as good. I'm not going to rewatch seasons 2 or 3 because season 2, like I said, I don't think it's as good. And season 3, I just watched it. It just ended end of last season. That's my stance. But yeah, this is the third time I've seen season 1, and I've already read I think I skipped over part what's adapted in the second season because it wasn't actually translated. Because at the time, because this was one of those shows where people the scanlators just skipped what had been adapted. And to be fair, it is a pretty faithful adaptation, but still, like I said, there are changes. So, but now it's been officially released, so it's all it's all available basically. What were you gonna say?
so here's my question, and I'm gonna tie this into the one of the biggest problems that Wet and I have with the show to ask about the changes. If they made changes, is one of those changes giving Chihaya no ass? Because that is by far the worst part of this anime.
It is. Listen, Chihaya.
She would literally be like way better if she had just like a fat ass. Or at least any
ass.
Kind of an ass.
Right, she has it's like a straight
It could be
line
fat,
down.
it could be tight, it could be firm. It just needs to be something, okay?
So from like her lower back.
No, she
all
also
the way
has no
down
ass in the manga. I'm pretty sure.
Well,
so.
Sad.
that ruins everything.
Guess they're both a 0 out of 10.
Well, see, I didn't even think about it, because, what just explained why it's a very WattheWut anime, and I didn't think about it until watching it. It's like, well, I knew it was a sports anime, so I'm like, yeah, Vindy likes sports, even though this sport is pretty different. And then, Chihaya's like, oh, I'm gonna play Karuta, better put my hair in a ponytail. I'm like, shit. This is a Vindy anime, too.
Well, I think Vindy likes it the least out of all three of us, so we're gonna find out.
I don't know, we'll see.
No,
I think,
but also yes, but also I don't know.
You know it's true.
It's hard.
Vindy.
It's hard. No. I'll explain it.
I'll say my rating at the end, but we all know what it might be. Vinny knows.
Well, this might we were talking about it in it's going to be competing with Girl in the Gun and Place Further in the Universe as far as like the most enjoyed Weeb Club pick.
Honestly, I have to rewatch Place Further in the Universe because as time goes on and I watch more of my favorites...
your reasoning at the time was that you cried or got teary-eyed like almost every episode, and that's what you just said for Chihayafuru, a show that is twice as long. So, by that same standard, you would assume you give it the same score higher, but at the same time,
here's the difference.
I get where you're coming from.
Sora Yori was a complete package that didn't just make
this is season 1 of 3 of a when it could be 5 seasons long if it by the time it ends.
My biggest problem with this season is that
there's 2 more seasons, so it's like
my biggest problem is like it ends and I'm like, okay, well, I can't really call that an end.
Especially watching season 2 weekly, this is a show that very much like you want more. Like there's a whole meme for season 2 because if you look at the season 2 ending, it starts with like it's basically like a long pan up from Chihaya and it starts just seeing her skirt and legs. So Chihaya's skirt is basically chest. Yeah, sure. Chihaya's skirt is basically a meme because some hype hash shit would be happening and then just like the ending starts. So you see the song starts and you see Chihaya's legs and skirt and it's like, fuck, I wanted to watch more. And season 2 was really bad about that because of like some things regarding season 2. So like, yeah, wanting more, like not only is that like
fucking season 2, I can't wait.
So not only is that like that's your issue is also like it's also part of a meme in the next season because it's like you just want more of it.
And
it's like and I'm not saying that this is exactly like Sangatsu, right? Because I don't think it is, but I do think there are some similarities I could draw between Chihayafuru and Sangatsu.
Well, there's a lot.
But I think that like if you look at all the Sangatsu series, seasons, I feel like even though they're not complete stories, I feel like it ties up like that season a little bit nicer. And I feel like that this last episode, nothing felt resolved, which is fine because it is part of this ongoing story. But it's also like, how do I rate just season 1 when you know what I mean?
Here's a good way to compare it. Like, Sangatsu no Lion is a story that if you watch the anime, if you get season 1, you can live with just season 1. You can rate it because it has a very clear cut beginning and an end for an anime season. Chihayafuru ends with "See you next time, gamers," and it's like, fuck. Now I gotta wait here. It's like I'm getting ready to come, and then it just goes, "See you next time," and I'm like, shit.
Yeah, it's very much like I'd agree. That's basically like I won't say read the manga ending because I don't know when season 2 was announced relative to season 1 ending. Because here's the difference: season 1 aired in 2011, season 2 aired in 2013. Season 3 aired last year, so there's a 6-year difference between the seasons 2 and season 3.
Right.
So, and season 2 ends in honestly a worse spot.
Well, and I think that's the thing though, right? Is obviously I'm not gonna it's not an actual knock against anything in the show, right? I'm sure when I keep watching,
and if you read the manga, it wouldn't be a problem at all because that's not an
current, issue. And then manga doesn't have any point where anything ends until it's actually over, Yeah,
I'm fucking spooked for when I read the manga and how much I'm gonna cry.
It just makes it hard for me to discuss, I think,
just season 1 when it's obviously an ongoing story and
it's
a little different from the weekly discussions because weekly discussions we talk about one episode for 5-15 minutes. This is going to be a full 1 to 2 hour discussion on an obviously incomplete thing. Hidamari's sketch is it's not as
it's more
plot-centered or goal-driven. It's more hell. I'd even argue season 2 of Hidamari's sketch ends with them seeking the opening in the bath. So it's not an ending, but it's there's a kind of bookend to it. Still,
you feel resolved,
right? I remember feeling I don't think it's nearly as good as an ending as the graduation special, but it's still some kind of a resolution. Even though and the series isn't about like yeah, there's change and there is growth, but it's not as like majorly like a big driving factor in the same way it obviously is for Chihayafuru, which is more plot, like it's the plot, yeah, exactly. It's a very different style of show, so it's very different. Like when we're discussing 20 episodes of one and 20 episodes of another.
Right,
So.
exactly.
And that's probably the biggest reason why I can't rate it any higher than what I gave it, because
that's why I'm conflicted on my rating. Yeah, it is.
No, I feel
so. Basically, like it could be a 10 if you like get the whole story and like recognize, like because like this is a good adaptation of that material.
Well,
so it's if you like that material that much, then or if it's even a favorite at all, So
we'll get to that, because like for example, one of my favorite anime and manga, like I like both of them almost about equally, is Hajime no Ippo. But Hajime no Ippo's first season ends very definitively.
Perfect place. The perfect place to end any season of Ippo.
I'm almost there actually, but
season
I
one.
think I can guess what it is at the point that I'm at. I'm literally partway through the Aoki Kimura backstory, but so I can kind of guess where the ending is, but I'll keep on that because I'm not there yet. So.
Hajime no Ippo's
but no, I cannot. But knowing that, I can kind of understand where you're coming from. So
is probably one of the I think it's one of the best adaptations I've seen, because it's just the way it manages material. But we're not talking about that.
We're talking about a different. We're talking about a different sport.
But Chihayafuru ends at a place where, whether or not you see this as a good thing or a bad thing, but it leaves you wanting more, and in a good way rather than a bad way, where it's like it's not.
Yeah, well, I would say it's a good way because like. There is more. Like, there's 50 more episodes and 40 volumes of manga. So it's like, here's more.
Which I might watch because, I might as well.
And maybe you'll feel differently about season 2 than I do. So, fresher perspective and all that. Well, because, like, this anime is also, like... So I want to talk about Karuta itself for a little bit, basically, because it's a sport anime on this, like... The sport that only exists in Japan and be played by people who are very fluent in Japanese, basically.
Which is part of the whole, like... thing inside the series, yeah.
Yeah, well, even outside the series, it's kind of interesting because, like, apparently season 2 and maybe season 3 was partly funded by, I don't know,
the Karuta Society, right?
Or maybe even the Japanese government, because it supports and promotes a very like Japanese thing, So it's like, so it's and it actually did increase like with Haikyuu did with volleyball, Chihayafuru increased the popularity of competitive Karuta, So it's like, so that's interesting.
Like, dead acid is a sport. Like, you can't really watching it. Like, I watched.
Well, I've gotten into arguments on about it, and like, because my personal definition of a sport, maybe Vindy will have all like I don't know how you'll, because you're obviously more into sports than me, but my video games, like that's it's close. Like I can't talk about that, but that's a bit unrelated. My definition of sport, it's a game that like has it has to be competitive and has a way to compete, and it has to be like there has to be a physical aspect. Like my kind of like way to think about it is like, can Stephen Hawking play it? He can play chess. He can't play Karuta because he can communicate chess moves to like people and play chess. Like there's not always a time limit on chess. So it's a game, not a sport.
Well,
so
Karuta,
as we find out with Karuta, when you get fat, you get worse.
Right. It's physical. Your speed and reflexes factor into it.
Yeah. Well, there's
yes. And
yeah. So Karuta is, from what I understand, and watching official matches, like it requires reflexes. It requires not just that, like requires core strength, lower body strength, the strength of your arm to like your
not having a fat ass apparently for some
fast twitch muscle fibers basically, and like flexibility was like a big thing I noticed, like to be able to extend your whole, like part of the reason why Chihaya is so fast because her arm is so long that she's able to whack whatever the fuck she wants across the entire board, right? Like you can't.
Well, and regarding the physicality, like one of my favorite, like I love the moment in season 1 where it's literally just the start of an episode, so it's not a real spoiler, but it's when they do the relay with the club relay, like. I don't know why, but that it's just like a little race, and it just gets me like hype every time.
Well, I think what makes that part so good, is the fact that right before we see them running, so that's like the payoff for showing how hard they've worked over the summer.
Yeah, but
you know?
that's like the pinnacle of like, you really can't argue that this is a sport, because the fact that they run to train in order to get their endurance up, like it's a sport. You can't call Karuta a sport. And anybody who doesn't think Karuta is a sport has no brain and doesn't know what a sport is. So, you know,
I've seen some takes on my server that are pretty
funny.
I think people get way too into the idea of like classifying shit one way or the other.
Yeah, that's right.
Because like you said, like I might think differently. Like my definition of a sport is just like, honestly, I think that it's something that's competitive where like you have to train at it probably.
Yeah, well, because I consider
cheerleading's a sport.
Like video, like esports, like there's still like the reason it falls in my definition because it's still a physical element to the controller. You know, like you can't hand Stephen Hawking a PlayStation controller and be like, become a pro a pro fighting game
well,
player.
You don't play
StarCraft
with the
hold up. Let's hold up for a second.
Yeah, you can play StarCraft 64 with an N64
Craftsdwarf's
controller.
measurement of what is and is not a sport.
Yes, it's Stephen Hawking.
Is determined by a paralyzed man who is dead. So we're gonna.
Well, I
think my thing is.
Well, I've had this example from before he was dead, so excuse me.
I think that like my thing is like, because like personally I would consider like chess or like shogi or anything like that a sport, because like, you know, like Mario Party's a goddamn game, right? You don't actually get good at Mario Party.
Well, no one plays it competitively, right? Yeah.
Right. And you know, like you have to train in chess, and like, you know, it does, like, you know, you could argue it's a mental sport, but the brain's a goddamn muscle. Like you got to train that shit. So, like, on some level, something that's mental is something that's physical.
Well, because when I thought about my definition, I was like, okay, chess is a game, but speed chess is a sport, and that's where my definite. Like, I'm not saying my definition is perfect. This is just the one I've kind of come to thinking about it myself. Like, and you know, I don't think, you know, and maybe like
Well, like I'd call Sangatsu like, well, I wouldn't call Sangatsu a sports anime because it's definitely it's much more about the drama. But like, you know,
well, it's definitely
it's not a
competitive
game.
Well, it's still very competitive. Like it's about the professional. Like that's one of the things. Like so, talking about Karuta a bit more is like basically to describe my video on it that I made years ago. I don't remember, the video is probably not good, but the main point of it was that like part of the reason I emotionally connect to Chihayafuru was because the characters care a lot. Like there are no professional Karuta players. Like no one is
so interesting.
Yeah, no one is paid to play this sport, and that makes it different from like Haikyuu, where they're just in high school club, but like they can become professionals, or even Sangatsu no Lion, where he literally like makes a shitload of money playing shogi. It
becomes a plot point at one point how he's making fucking bank.
Exactly right, but with Karuta, there's no future in playing it. So everyone who we see in the show who's playing Karuta is literally basically doing it for fun. Because like they just enjoy playing and winning at it.
Which is why every single person we see loves Karuta. You never see anyone who's just like talented, is like, oh yeah, well I'm good at it, but I don't really enjoy it, right? Like you have to love it to be playing.
Well, there's some exceptions. Like there's a character in one of the later episodes who is burnt out on it and
but
doesn't.
I still think that's
right, but
that
generally,
from a.
Right, but generally speaking, exactly right, because they have to dedicate so much time, and I connected to that to like. How much how many hours have I put into YouTube? And yeah, I've made more money on YouTube than most Karuta players would ever make. But like, it's not enough to live on by any stretch of the imagination, you know? So it's like, I emotionally connected to the show in that way. And like, I like the interactions like with, you know, her, like, when Chihaya is like trying to talk to her like family about it and about her accomplishments, and they just kind of don't give a shit. For a lot of the time, because her older sister is actually doing something that a lot that they can give a shit about.
You're about to get me into maybe my favorite scene in the show. No, not
listen.
Favorite,
that's probably why like I want to make a video about this so bad because there's a lot of there's the episode where like she's like trying to recruit Kana, the fucking stacked fucking Opie lolly, which. Honestly, more curves on her than Chihaya's entire life. But like, it's like there's the part where she's like, because like Chihaya's like, I know about the poems too. This one is talking about how the river turns red, and Kana's like, no. and it's so
there are
good,
themes,
though.
bitch.
She's Craftsdwarf, but like it's
Yeah.
it's so good because the entire poem is talking about like the red the impassionate is like it's talking about the gods, and the red it can be interpreted to be as like a it's like a river and like fall or a suicide, and it's basically just talking about a love that even though it's like it's like spread out over a long time, it's still as passionate as ever, right, throughout the entire time. And that's literally Chihaya's entire character. It's this thing that she found love for that nobody else appreciates, but her passion for it's so great, right, that it endures over time.
Yeah.
I disagree.
Well, I definitely want to talk about the shut up, Vindy. I definitely want to talk about the characters, but before talking, like another thing about Karuta is that like it has this really like it's a sport, but it still has this like mental like the memorization, like Tai Chi's absurd fucking memory. Like what later on he's like they're doing a practice match. Yeah, he's watched Rick and Morty like 5 times. He recites every poem from memory without repeating any of them. Like he's a fucking like see like so what you watch this video about it talks about Tai Chi is about like talent versus hard work, but Tai Chi's a fucking crazy person. Like he's just a different crazy person compared to Chihaya, like who has a different talent.
Every
like,
single person in this show is a crazy person. Like Ninmanji, who's fucking he's like saying this shit in my fucking server right now. He's fucking weird and creeps me out. You know I don't.
Stupid.
Why is he so mad? Why is he so mad, Craftsdwarf?
Cause I wasn't just saying I disagree to say I disagree. I had a goddamn joke I was gonna make. I was going somewhere with it. And Craftsdwarf just shuts me down and then talks about his shithole fucking card game. Motherfucker. I was gonna say no, Chihaya's primary character is her autism. But no.
Well, yeah,
I want to make my goddamn joke.
I said that I wanted to talk about the characters, and one of the things I was going to bring up was Chihaya being fucking autistic. Or hell, if you want to go autism, there's Kana, there's Shinobu. Everyone's kind of autistic.
Everyone in this show is a fucking autismo. This is an entire cast of autismos. Like, literally.
Not true.
Okay, prove it
Sensei Man is the chadliest
he's
boy I've
kind
ever
of,
seen, and
he's
he has
kind of
zero autism.
I mean, he's kind of an autismo, a little bit.
No, he's
a little
chadly.
bit. Look, the fact that they're playing Karuta means that they're fucking autismos, okay? Come on now. That's the literal whole point, you dumb bitch.
Sensei is a chad and doesn't have autism.
Well, you know what? You're probably just, like, really projecting because you also are an autismo.
Their advisor from the school is also not autistic.
She's kind of an autismo. She's kind
of a mega chad.
Look, you cannot watch this show and not realize that everyone in the show is an autismo, and it's great.
Not everyone.
No, like I really love the whole cast, like the whole club. I like Haruta. I like Shinobu.
So good.
Haruta Sensei, just to specify, since you guys don't seem to remember his name. I like.
Oh my God!
Aruta, of course. I like Miyoshi Sensei. I like.
Vindy, did you hear this, man? He's like, yeah, you don't fucking remember it like I do, you fucking piece of shit.
Well, you're not saying his name, so I'm gonna assume you don't remember.
I said his name as much as the characters in the fucking show said his name, bitch. They call him Sensei 24/7. You motherfucker.
Like, my
Look,
thing is,
I'm
I don't
just
know what
flexing
to talk
on
about.
you.
I don't know what to talk about until we get into spoilers because a lot of it has to do with content that's like integral to the fucking story. But we could talk about like the main 5 members of the Karuta Club because they're so good. They're so good.
Like, well, my problem is that like there's moments with like Nishida is maybe like it's hard to rank them, but like I think about Nishida, but mostly for stuff that happens later. So it's like, well, I can't really talk about him now, even though he's really good.
Yeah, we could talk. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking
I like Tsutomu, I like Kana. The episodes where Chihaya recruits them are all great.
God, they're like, look, one of them gets recruited, and like his entire identity is that they call him Desk Tomu in the English translation.
Yeah. Well, in the original Japanese, his name is Tsutomu, and they call him Sukue, which is just so they just call him Desk, but it's got the same syllable as his name. But the English Desk Tomu, because like that kind of gets across, in
his episode, literally has Chihaya carrying him in as he's circling to his fucking desk. And it's so good.
She's autistic and just grabbed the desk.
No, she grabbed him and he was holding the desk.
He pulled the desk along because he's autistic.
Oh, I thought she grabbed him and then...
No, she pulled him and he grabbed... Because he couldn't let go of the desk the entire time, basically, because he was full autismo, yeah.
God, okay.
So,
this is one of those shows where it's like the main cast is so good, I don't really even have a favorite, kind of, because it's like...
Oh, I definitely have a favorite.
My favorite, look, again, I love all of them, but I love Chihaya so much. I love her autism. I love her she's so stupid. Like, Vindy was tweeting some of the faces from she was making in the last episodes because, like I don't know what it is about, because Vindy, we kind of talk about this, like, Aikatsu, but it's also just, like, Aoharu Ride and Chihayafuru, where they'll just have these stupid fucking faces that I don't see anything like them in, like, the normal stuff I watch or read, like the shonen and the seinen and stuff. So they just have these dumb fucking faces, and Chihaya just has so many of those.
Look, can I just say this?
She's so stupid.
Chihaya might not have a bottom, but she's definitely a bottom. she's a bottom, you know?
Okay, what?
She's an M, right? Fuck, dude.
My favorite character is Taichi. I love Taichi. He's a Giga Chad. I love him.
You need to read the manga, Vindy. You definitely need to read the manga.
Oh my god! He Giga Chads out even harder? Is that what you're telling me?
I just think Taichi's best stuff is not in the season.
Oh! That's how I feel about that.
To the point that I'm not even, maybe you can explain it, but I'm like wondering, does Vindy really grasp Taichi's character yet?
Do I need to?
Because I know one of you said something that definitely is like, so we'll talk about that. Because I'm just saying there might be, it's not like your fault, it's that there's context missing, is what I mean.
I don't know, because I think there's some other interesting things about Chihayafuru, but I do want to say, like, I'm actually going to watch this entire anime in a timely manner, because I'm watching it with my family.
Yes, that's what I kind of realized, is that you guys are going to actually finish watching it first, and which will be good, because then by the time you read it, like, you'll be a bit less fresh on the old material, and some stuff will be very contextualized. Like, Haruta gets some stuff later that makes some of these moments in the beginning even better, where just some of the lessons he gives that, just a minor spoil, he's learned himself. Like, God. Look, so good.
This is literally one of those stories where it's like it utilizes its whole cast pretty well. Like, God, it's okay. This show has probably one of my favorite first parts, first 3 episodes.
First three episodes, like the first episode already is good, but the first 3 episodes are possibly one of the best openers to anything I've ever seen.
I was sobbing in episode 3.
I don't know. God.
So well,
and I want to talk about a bit about the anime manga differences, because the first half of episode 1 is largely anime original, because because I thought it was interesting that it's focusing, because it focuses on Chihaya in high school. The Chihaya is already like a fucking hyper obsessed Karuta dweeb. In the manga, we see the flash forward is completely different. Like, it's not a spoiler because it starts with Chihaya in the final queen match that of the series. Basically, we don't see the queen; we just see that Chihaya is there, and then it goes to her as a kid. So I like the way I like when they start high school.
Does this better? Yeah.
Yes, because we see her and Taichi interacting. Like, Taichi's art, this is the way he's joking around with Chihaya, It's very different from how he acts in the show, because he normally has to be this authority to her, and that really struck me rewatching, because I was like, wow, that's not like Taichi at all. He's like a normal kid, but it still makes sense given, again, like I just said, but and yeah, I like seeing, first we see Chihaya as this hyper-obsessed Karuta dweeb, and then we get to see how she became that. So I really like the way that the first half of the first episode changes the material. And in a way that really works. And it's also just pacing wise, because if they didn't do that, then the final scene at the end of episode 3, the cry scene would be halfway through episode 3 instead, or the pacing would be very different, and I don't know if that would work. So it's just the way that animated it's good.
Paced so perfectly the way it caps off at episode 3. It's so good, and then immediately after it's her trying to build the fucking club. It's so good. But also, one thing Vindy, I hate you, by the way, because listen, I love Chihayafuru's OST. Because I'm big on this thing of like, you know, like Ide fixes or like fuck, what is the word I'm looking for? Fuck, I'm like blanking out. But basically, you know, My Hero Academia has its main theme, you know, you say run. But those same notes in You Say Run are used in key points of when the OST is used, and they're all usually in relation to like Deku. And right? So it's like the da 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 like that. Chihayafuru, every single track, I was listening to the OST, and every single track at some point has the da 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 da, like the one that plays. Somewhere in that track, whenever it hits like an emotional high point, right? Whenever it hits like a moment of realization or of emotional connection, it plays da 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 da, and it's like and every time it happens, I was like it fucking makes me ooh, like, especially during matches, right? When all of a sudden like they light up, and all of a sudden the fucking one OST plays, I'm like yes, let's go boys, let's go, and then like look. And that's the worst part. One of the worst parts about this show is the fact that I don't really give a fuck about the OP. The OP is fine, but I
like the OP.
When the OP plays,
I mean, I can if someone said they play it too much, I can kind of understand, but I still like it, so I don't mind.
No. When the opening itself plays, like you know, like during one of the episodes, I forgot what it was like in the latter half when it just starts playing the opening. I was like, holy shit,
Are you stupid?
Oh, here we go again. Here we go fucking good.
First of all, my problem with the OST isn't the song specifically. I actually love the songs in the OST. I just think it, like, plays the same, like, 4 songs too much.
Well, it's not playing the same 4 songs too much.
No, there are definitely songs that they play a lot that are the same arrangement and the same instrumentations and sound the exact same, not just for
There's
the
a reason
but the
for
what,
it, Vindy.
you idiot.
There's a
there
reason
are songs,
for it.
I don't care. When I hear the same song every episode, it's boring. Okay?
Well,
I don't want to hear that. It's the same problem I have with You Say Run in certain fucking seasons of MHA, and I brought it up and you're like, yeah, that's a problem. It's the same problem with SAO playing its main theme too much, which I brought up to you, and you're like, yeah, you're right.
Well,
and now I'm saying with Chihayafuru, and you're not saying it.
Well, the difference is SAO's main theme isn't that good, and Chihayafuru uses it like, I was listening to the OST, and like different tracks at a certain point in every single one will play those
Yes, I get that. I understand that. You are right. That is true. I'm not talking about those fucking 5 notes or whatever. I'm saying there are certain whole-ass songs that get played, I think, too much.
And it's good, though, because it plays during certain emotional highs, and it's really good. I hate you.
I do agree they play the OP too much, though, even if the OP is fucking fire, and it's great, and I love it, and I've been listening to it, like, all day on repeat.
Unfortunate.
I do think
so.
They play it
Before
too
we go
much
into sorry about Dun, because before we go into spoilers, I want to ask Vindy about his family.
Yeah,
because you have the normie opinion. Yeah.
Yeah, well, because it's that I didn't get to finish season 1 with them because we were watching.
You had to record
the Yeah, so I'm gonna rewatch the second half of season 1 with them. It was actually like the last episode I saw with them was episode 12, so I had to watch the rest of it today alone. But
unfortunate.
I mean, yeah, it was because like the reason I asked is because like my older brother is like a swim coach, like he is, that's what he does for a job, and my sister is like getting a full scholarship to college swimming, and so because of that, like they care a lot about sports stuff.
Like you've talked about it in stream, but like also I think your dad was also really into sports, so
my dad
your whole family
sports,
and especially Haikyuu I think is something a lot of your family connects on. So
Haikyuu is like my brother and sister, both of theirs favorite shows. So yeah, like they love Haikyuu, and so I was like, hey, I have to watch the sports anime. You guys want to watch with me? And it took me like a week of like, hey, let's watch the show to get them to watch episode 1. After that, they were asking me to watch it. They're like, can we watch Chihayafuru? I was like, sure, yeah, let's watch a couple episodes. It was so funny because like we watched episode and like we were just like I was like, can we watch episode 1? And my sister was like, okay, we'll sit down to watch episode 1. We watched like 4 episodes in a row. And I was like, do you have time to turn the next episode on? And she's like, just start it. And they really like it. They fucking, I mean, like, there was a moment that I'll mention when we get to spoilers. My sister was crying like a bitch. she was crying for like 10 minutes about it. And then, I mean, they just love it. It's interesting because, like, I think the thing they were doing the most while watching the show, though, was laughing. Like, they were constantly fucking on
the show is really funny.
with how autistic Chihaya was.
And that's, yeah, of course. Oh, like, I love the gag. It gets me every fucking time, but when Chihaya just falls asleep and she's just fucking dead, like, instantly.
And then when she wins a match through doing it.
Yeah. In anything ever, I like it, but Chihayafuru, it just happens a lot, so, it's really good.
I was gonna say one more thing about it. 1 second. Oh, and then there's some stuff that's like just interesting because, like, for example, right? I don't know where the romance goes, but I'm like 99% sure that I see it being Taichi and Chihaya.
No, 100% it's gonna be that.
Because... And like part of my reasoning for that is that, like, I see it as like Taichi has to pass Arata as a Karuta player, right? So it's both like he has to pass him as being better at Karuta, and also right now Chihaya cares more about Arata, so then Taichi surpasses him in that too, right? And part of that's because he constantly like feels like, well, it's not worth it if I don't pass it, and that's why I love the moment where he says that to Harda Sensei, and Harda like responds back to him with, this is like episode 5. This is not a spoiler. And Harda responds back with like, well, you don't know until you try or whatever.
Taichi says that like if he spent his whole childhood he couldn't surpass Arata, and Harda's like, well, say that after you've spent your whole childhood on Karuta, so.
And so like I just see that like obviously it has to be Taichi, but my sister has been arguing with me the whole time we're watching the show, and she's been like pointing out every little time that like, because she doesn't like go as deep into like the meaning behind stuff, right? So she's like looking at it very surface value. She's like, no, Chihaya likes Arata. It's definitely him. And it's just interesting because she just doesn't see like the, like she's very like when we were watching like the flashback scene, and it was very clear Taichi was being like a piece of shit because he has these like familial pressures on him. She's like, I hate Taichi. He's terrible. And I was like seeing like what was gonna happen to him. And I was like, no, I love Taichi. He's great. I'm here for it. It's just funny watching a show with people.
I can't because like one, I have to reread the manga, and but two is that like I obviously know more, so I can't just like weigh in because anything I would say would have a bit more weight to it because I have more context.
If you're gonna tell me Taichi's a piece of shit, I'm dropping.
No, I'm just gonna say no. I'm not gonna say anything. I'm not gonna say anything.
He's a Giga Chad sweet man, and I love it.
I love Taichi.
It's interesting that you say that, Vinny, because the only piece of animation that my entire family will sit down and we all really like is Avatar: The Last Airbender. Like, unironically, it's the only one where we'll all sit down and watch it together and be like, yeah, it's fucking fire. My little sister and my older sister...
It's also air and water and earth.
I'm gonna kill you. So then, like, my sister...
I deserved applause.
My older sister fucking comes up to me, she's like, hey, who do you think Katara should have ended up with? And I look at her, I go, I don't fucking care. She's like... And she was like arguing about like, I think Katara should have ended up with Zuko because she's too much like a mom to Aang. She's because like, and then my little sister comes along. She's like, who do you think Katara should have ended up with? She's like, I really don't think fucking Zuko should have ended up with Katara because Zuko already has a girl. Like, I don't really care. Like, they're very like they like to fucking actually unironically debate ships. So I'm sitting there like.
Well, I think like that you could argue that like Chihayafuru is very much a romance. Like there's very much these romance elements.
That's literally what it is.
No, it's funny, like because it's Josei, so the romance is supposed to be an important part. But like the way it like plays out and like basically in everything but aesthetic, it's very shonen almost like a sports. Like it's pretty hot blooded but it just isn't like it's not drawn or presented that way. But it could have been very easily, I think. So it's
funny because there was one part where I was sitting down and I was like, all right, like we were watching. I was like, all right, when's the sexual assault gonna happen? Well, my sister gave me a look. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about?
There was a lot of moments where Taichi gets a little grabby.
And Josei. Dude,
that's
are you talking about in the train when Taichi clapped? My fucking Giga Chad hero. I love him. Ugh, he's so good.
Like, I will say that from what I've read in Chihayafuru, there's basically none. So it is an exception. It is a convention-breaking Josei.
Chihaya broke the Josei tradition of sexual assault.
It even has a sadist, and nothing happens.
Because they're not sexual sadists. They get off on Karuta.
Yeah.
He gets off on bullying.
Let's go.
Like what the what?
Whoa, not me.
Yeah, you're too short to be pseudo.
Well, that's unfortunate.
All right, are we about ready to move into spoilers, or
Sue,
did
don't
you have
be
more to
like
say
that.
with your family's reaction and feelings
just
about
one more
it?
thing. My sister can't pronounce, like, she keeps forgetting her name's Chihaya, so she calls her Chichaya. So if I ever accidentally say that, it's because it's become a meme when we watch it.
Okay.
Where I'll just constantly call her Chichaya.
I don't think
to
you
make fun
said
of
it
my
yet,
sister.
but that's...
So if I do say it, I'm not retarded. My sister's retarded. I'm just making fun of her.
And making fun of her has made it bleed into your brain. Gotcha.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Unfortunate.
All right. Spoilers for the rest of... it's more specific stuff past the first 4 episodes of Chihayafuru. Yeah. But,
My dick is hard.
My dick would be harder if Chihaya had a fatter ass.
All right, that was all for this episode of the Weeb Club. Thank you for...
Speaking of horny, it took me way too long to realize that OA was fucking stacked.
How did it take you that long? It was like, what?
I only realized it because I was looking on fucking Sad Panda, and there was a Chihayafuru dojin, and it was like of OA, and she had like massive fucking badons as Craftsdwarf.
There are no
and I was
good
like, why the fuck
Chihayafuru
are her boobs
dojins.
that big? And then I was watching the show that I didn't actually click on the dojo. I just saw like the thumbnail for it, and I was like, why are her boobs so big? And I was watching. I was like, wait, that's why they were so big. What the hell?
There are no good Chihayafuru dojins. I'm sorry. They're all bad.
Are you serious? I don't believe you. I'm gonna check.
There are no good ones. I was looking and I was like,
looking.
well,
I'm literally looking right now.
there are no good ones. I'm gonna mute real quick. I have to find some.
I guess he's looking at the Chihayafuru dojin.
Let's move on to spoilers. They didn't... No, let's get horny. I'm not horny.
Me neither.
That's a fucking lie, and you know it.
Well, I'm looking at dojins right now, but that doesn't mean I'm horny. This is terrible. Alright, that one's bad. Why are they all of OA too? I hate fucking Japanese and their love of big tits. They're dead to me. Okay. I'll go ahead since I already alluded to it. Like the scene that made my my sister cry super hard was, and it was funny because she actually picked up on it kind of. It was when like they made the newspaper, right, for advancing the nationals.
Yes. Oh yeah.
And my sister goes, "Oh no, her dad's not gonna notice." Like,
and put it in because there's like fucking 7 Chitose volumes of the but there's nothing of Chihaya.
And then when she got home and saw that she was cut out in the newspaper and went and looked, and he had like the whole scrapbook with all like the little notes about how proud he was of her.
And
my sister was gone.
Yeah. No, that like, I'm trying to remember because like obviously episode 3, the joining episode, like the Tsutomu one, like the Kana one, like where they got recruited, were really, I forget. I feel like there was definitely more. Maybe with Arata when they went to go talk to him.
I cried when the queen showed up and was fat. That didn't make me happy. I was very sad about that.
She slims down.
She was so hot, Craftsdwarf.
I love Shinobu. She's mega. Like, I love the gag where she also likes mascot characters. And like, because it's used to like, oh, she is like, oh, she's a normal teenager just like me, but also they're both mega autists about Karuta and mascot characters. Like, actually, I just realized that doesn't even really like, yeah, Chihaya really likes Daddy Bear and she likes Snowmaru, and I think there's even more of that in later seasons, of course.
Well, yeah, and there were some funny gags about like when she goes out and she's like, I like your Snowmaru t-shirt's really cute, and she goes, he has a name, and then gets so into Snowmaru she gets fat.
No, wait, no. Shinobu already liked Snowmaru. It was background character.
Vindy's an idiot, and I hate him.
No, Shinobu didn't. Shinobu said that she didn't know Snowmaru had a name. Are you
background characters said that they didn't know that Snowmaru had a name.
Dude,
because this was after when they were outside.
See, here's why I don't believe you. I'll tell you why I don't believe you. Shinobu was the only person on screen.
I'm gonna kill you.
Shinobu recognizes Daddy Bear. She knows mascot characters.
See, I want to believe you.
There were other people in the scene, even like
I really hate
that wasn't
Vindy.
Shinobu's voice.
Did I mention that I hate Vindy? Because I really fucking hate Vindy.
Man, first, what doesn't watch Vatican? Now Vinny didn't watch Chihayafuru.
I definitely watched that.
Literally. Oh my god, I'm gonna kill him. I'm gonna kill this man. I'm gonna kill this man. I'm gonna fucking bury his body.
Yeah. Kill me.
You fucking piece of shit. I hate you.
Kill me.
But anyway, I like Shinobu. She's stupid and good.
God, imagine picking her up and look, Shinobu and the king. I mean,
the master.
The master.
Yeah,
I'm like
amazing,
yeah. It's just proving that every single person who's into this sport is a fucking autismo.
I love the Meiji, by the way. He's a Giga Chad.
You just see him, he's like picking his nose and shit. He's like, Look, okay, so
you don't even know how autistic he is.
I know I don't know yet because it's just
so good.
That little bit, I was like, oh god, no, we're fucking entering a world of autismos here. So like, here's what's great. Anybody who thinks this fucking story is about talent versus hard work, like if you say it about this show of all things, your brain is gone and you stop living.
You know what this show's about?
What is it about?
Passion.
Oh my god!
And cards?
Oh, my dog.
No, don't make fun of Cross. Cross is a good boy.
Cross.
Well, like, and I guess because I do want to comment on the talent hard work thing because like. Yeah, it kind of isn't like because the whole thing with Chihaya and Taichi is that like they do have these like unique skills. Like Chihaya has her hearing ability, her game sense, but everything else sucks. So it's like Hard even says like I need to give her more weapons, more tools.
She does.
You know, okay.
Here, I hate you. No, okay, so like there's a whole.
Let me finish because like Taichi has this super good memory, but he hasn't been focusing on his body as a result. So like both of these, like they've gotten where they are because of their skills, but the reason they can't go farther is because they have to focus on everything else that they've been neglecting. So it's like neither are is. It's not about talent versus hard work. Obviously, it's like all the characters have a bit of both.
Well, there's
you're going.
With each of the characters, there's like a mental block that prevents them from doing certain things, right? Like Chihaya even explains it, right? Was that she always thought that Karuta was about speed. So she only focused on the speed because that's what she took away from it when she played with Aruta when she was like little.
Because that was how she got her first card. She was faster,
Reki
right?
Kawahara thinks that reaction time is all that matters.
I'm gonna fucking kill you. Anyway, so it's like, so it's not just like, you know, that they're neglecting it. They're neglecting it because in their minds they've only focused on the one thing that like got them there, right? So Chihaya views it as like,
and I didn't think about that because also Taichi with the memory is like who was the other person who like Aruta had memorized Karuta as well, and he was way better. So he took from that, took that from it.
Like it's because it's like with every character, right? It's like there's a certain thing that's preventing them from getting their other weapons. Chihaya's is like she's I've always valued speed because that's what I took away from it, and that's how I took away my first card from Aruta. Taichi wanted to fucking be a bigger brain than Giga Brain Aruta, right?
Well, he has the biggest brain of all time.
I just realized he also took away his glasses during their match, and Aruta was still able to memorize the cards well enough to still like compete, and Taichi would he did an illegal like card. You're supposed to like say that you're moving your cards, you know, like and raise your hand and stuff, but he just did it because he's a kid, he doesn't know the rules, and they're not advanced enough to even consider that, and that's how he was starting to get an edge over Aruta and memorization, right? I never thought about that because I recognized like what I was just saying about how like his focus on that was limiting him in other areas, but I didn't think about why he thought that, but go on.
Nikaido, Nikaido's whole thing. It's so good when you find out the reason why. It's like,
Nikaido?
I'm fucking losing my mind!
Oh, okay, Nishida. Okay.
No, Nikuman. It's like they called him something in the...
No, Nikuman, yeah. And
Nikuman.
It's like pork gun.
Yeah,
but Nishida is his actual name.
Because I saw like Porky, and I heard Nikai, and then it just finishes in my head always as Nikaido. So Nishida. I'll try to say Nishida, but every time I watched the show and she kept calling him fucking Porky, Nika whatever kept going in my head. So Nishida's whole thing was so good when he's like, it stopped being fun. I did this because it was fun, but eventually I started doing it because I like winning was fun. But then Aruta beat my ass every single time and it stopped being fun. So I started doing tennis because like, it was easier that way.
Care.
And it was so good though, because then like when like the Empress comes in and she's like, what are you fucking doing here? You got tennis practice. He's like, tennis will never be a replacement for Karuta. I want to play Karuta. I love it so much. And I was like, ah!
So, again, well, also I was reminded of there's a quote he has where second place hurts the most. Which is just like, But another thing I want to say is the Nishida episode. So in the manga, there's the part where Chihaya like jumps him, because she recognizes him from when they were kids.
Did she sexually assault him?
Oh my god, there was sexual assault after all. Anyway, no, but so in the manga, it goes from that's like the end of the chapters. I think the chapter that they recruit Sutomo, and she just sees Nishida and is like, you, and she jumps him. Next chapter, he's just part of the club, and the tennis stuff is like shortened, and it's like a flashback during the regionals match against Hokuo.
Are you serious?
So that's another change that they made that I think is
and that was
good,
a really good fucking change.
Yeah, well, because like by shortening it in the match, like you still get that character moment with him, like gearing up and fight, to win, but then it takes like there's more time spent on the actual Hokuo match. So rather than just the big cutaway to his flashback, which I think was even short. I forget. I don't remember how much they went into it in the manga, but it was they basically took from there and put it in and expanded on it for that episode, and it was a good episode. So it's another manga change that that helps me appreciate the anime even more.
Like what I'm realizing is that like a lot of like the characters' problems that they have with it, it's like there's like certain mental blocks that are like associated directly with their love of Karuta or things about it, right? That like either stop them from doing things or encourage them.
They don't love enough of Karuta, basically. Like Nishida only liked winning,
So
and it's really apparent with Chihaya and Kana because Chihaya only cared about the speed and the poem and the just the first few syllables, and Kana's like themes, and Chihaya's like, well, tell me about the themes, and now I can see them. Like there was the two cards that sounded similar, and Kana's like, these two cards can't be any more different, even though they sound similar.
Okay.
And she,
So when she starts talking to Kana and she talks about the Chihayafuru poem, she's like, when you listen to that poem, don't those black letters seem like a deep red to you? And then Chihaya's like, every time I play now, whenever I see the Chihaya card, all I see is it's bright red, and I'm always drawn to it, right? And that's also tied to her personality, her character, her impassionate love for Karuta that never dies, right? And then the Kana starts talking about the other ones. It's like the other meaning behind them. And she's like, this one is like this kind of green, and this one is this kind of green.
That was the one I was thinking of with the two cards, because like they're about the same like region, but they're in different seasons. So and she's even says they're like separated by like a century. So she's like offended at the idea that they sound the same, because it's like, what, bitch, or please.
God, so there's like,
yeah, Naruto and Bleach are the same thing. Okay, Chihaya. No,
so
anyway.
it's so good, like. So, in the last episode, when they're watching the Queen and the Master match, when Chihaya realizes that, like, I don't love Karuta like Yumin and Shinobu.
Yes.
They're just so good, because Shinobu, like, and then also Chihaya's like, Shinobu would never hurt the cards. She loves them too much. They're like her children, right? And
because like everyone's comparing it to like, oh, she moves like a razor, like a sword, and she is like, no, she would
never hurt her friends.
She moves with the accuracy that hits the cards at like as little contact as possible, because she's not again, like you said, she's not trying to hurt the cards.
And that's what I think is really cool. It's like this story is not about like talent versus hardware. It's literally like a love. It's like a love for a thing that nobody else understands. And
that's the thing I wanted to point out, because like the thing with like Arata and Shinobu is like, oh, they're geniuses. They've just been playing since they were kids and putting in the hard work since like for longer than most other people. Like Shinobu's like, she's just super autistic, and the cards lover. So okay, talent, sure, I guess. Arata, like, yeah, he was learning from a fucking from a former Meijin.
Okay,
like,
yeah. So that's another one. It's like the reason why he stopped playing is tied to that love. Right?
I forgot about that was
the
more
one that he
loved
died because he went to a tournament that he told him to go to.
So he was like, this man is fucking gone. His mind is just not there. And then in his last moment of lucidity, he's like, Arta, why the fuck aren't you playing Karuta? And
it's so good, right?
And then he died, and then
okay, this is why like people. I don't understand how anybody equates any series to just hard work beats talent, right? Because it's like. Any series,
the least interesting thing I could possibly take from it.
It's tied to it because their talent and their hard work comes from. Like, it's in the fucking name of this series. Chihayafuru means impassionate, right? And that's like the entire, it's a hockey about every character has this impassionate love for this thing that nobody else understands or will understand like they do. And by playing with these other people, she's gaining aspects of Karuta that she's starting to love, that she's learning from other people. Like from Kana, she learns like, you know, the meanings behind all the poems. And now instead of just seeing words and speech, she's seeing these colors of like what everyone like.
Yeah,
it was so good when after like Kana
even in the matches, I love how she like learns from her opponents, and like with Yumin, she like she's this like cold, you know, because she's just completely burnt out. There's no fire anymore. But then like Chihaya like reignites her flame, and Yumin, you know, wins because like Chihaya's passion is just so infectious, you know. Or what are you gonna say?
Like it's every single character that she interacts with is like another aspect of Karuta that she learns to love, and that's like the whole fucking thing. Like Arata's entire thing is like him learning to come back to the thing that he loved in the first place, right? And the only reason that happened is because Chihaya and Taichi both encouraged him to come back. Look, it was so good when Taichi goes to that tournament and he loses and he's all fucking pissed off because Arata's there. But then all of a sudden, like, Chihaya grabs him and she's crying. She's like, Arata's back. He's finally back. And then all of a sudden Taichi looks and he realizes that, like, he shouldn't be, like, upset about it. He's like, my best friend is back. Just like how I remember he was. And he loves Karuta again. And they fucking start crying, and I was like, ah!
So, Vindy, you've been quiet for a while. You want to talk about Chad Taichi?
Yeah, I fucking love him. He's a Giga Chad. I don't know. I mean, I was going to mention that I think something that's interesting about Chihayafuru is I think a lot of the characters, in some level, have some kind of familial pressure on them.
Oh, yeah.
I was gonna mention this earlier, but I love the gag where Taichi's mom is like hissing at Chihaya when she's going to Taichi's room, which is not only funny, but if you look at her daddy bear bag, the daddy bear is also afraid. The mascot.
I didn't notice that.
So, but no, you're right, because Chihaya is just kind of like ignored by like until she isn't, of course, like you were talking about earlier.
She is,
at least for the main three, that's the case. Like we don't really see, like Kana's the opposite. Her mom's like super supportive of it because it's like fucking advertising, bitch. Like she's just going
it's
full
so
like.
Funny, though. She's like, wow, this looks really nice. You are now our poster girl. You will fucking have. It's like, and she's like, at every tournament, she's like, look at you buy our shit.
Look, we got a new line for Karuta players exclusively. Like, it's great marketing. She's just like smart, the good business sense, and it's great.
God, I can't believe Kana only cares about clout. Plays Karuta for clout.
Or at least Kana's mom, but.
Well, no, Kana 100% was marketing shit. Did you hear her the entire time?
No, that's true. Yeah, she was.
So funny. Like, you know what was funny was when Shinobu was fat and they were playing, and Kana's like horrified, and she's like, "Why is she wearing that?"
That's like that kimono's worth 1,000,000 yen. How could and she's just playing Karuta in it? Like she's fucking losing her mind, and everyone else is commenting on the weight gain. Yeah,
I can't believe Chihayafuru said fat shaming is acceptable.
Also, I love the part where Taichi just like dumps his girlfriend
on
the spot.
That was so funny.
and everyone else is just horrified because they've never had luck with I never had luck with boys, never had luck with girls, and he's just like, okay, let's break up. Like,
well, because this Madman's like, I'm after a finer pussy, bitch. Bye.
I also love the moment where he realizes he's in love with Chihaya.
God.
Oh yeah, when you don't, when they're on their way to Arata and he's like being in love with someone is when you, No,
I'm talking about when he's like up against the locker and she opens it because he's not watching the other Class A players, or he says like that he's gonna root him on, and she's like, no, like next year they're gonna be your rivals, and then she calls him hopeless. That moment's really good.
Yeah, he's like, I'm hopelessly in love with you.
Yeah. I don't want to say that line because that line's kind of cringy, and I didn't want to be a man who said.
Well, you know what? You know what, dude? Whatever.
Well, what likes chick flicks? So it's fine if.
It's so unfortunate. So on Twitter, there was somebody who put like a thing. It was like, the teen chick flick checklist.
Can't believe what.
And I had seen the entire list, and I was like, well, and really like.
You have only sisters, right?
Yeah.
Or that's.
I know the ins and outs of the fucking Twilight saga. Man. I know the entire thing.
My sister was explaining the plot of Twilight to my little brother the other day.
I also watched most of Glee, and like Glee for like the first.
Well, that's
3
one
seasons.
step too far.
Okay,
Honestly, I read the first 3 Twilight books and dropped the 4th because it was too bad I couldn't get through it. But
but Breaking Dawn's where they have sex.
Yeah, I don't want to read 200 pages of her
It's
getting
so
raped.
funny.
Like, I don't need to read about
No,
her
no,
getting
no.
raped
You don't
and then the
understand
werewolf turning
you
into a
don't
pedophile.
understand how funny
Like,
it
that's
is.
too much for
No,
me.
no. You don't understand how funny it is because they write this all out and it talks about like the day after because there's like a maid
Yeah,
there.
I read like half the book, dude.
And then the maid shows up
I read
and she's
that.
like, she's looking at Bella and she's like, yo, poor girl, holy shit. And they're just
Yeah,
looking
I
at the
understand
bed
that.
and
I
they're
read
like,
that.
huh, okay. It's like, why would you write that? What's wrong with you?
My favorite part is when the werewolf guy becomes a fucking pedophile.
I need to like talk to you guys about that because it's so funny. It's so funny.
we should watch the Twilight movies for the
Oh
week.
no.
No.
Oh no.
You don't get the full effect from the films. The films are kind of like the book has
I know,
goes
but here's
all
the
in
thing. What
as
the what?
deep as it
I
could
am not
possibly
reading
go.
Twilight.
I have it in audiobook form because my sisters.
I'm
I'm
not,
not listening to
Twilight.
Twilight. Yeah.
I'll
or
watch
reading
the
it.
movies with y'all and record like a commentary track.
I really don't want to.
So
but I guess I would.
anyway, we've got our
Patreon,
tracker.
patreon.com/Weeb Club.
Yeah.
That's something. to
So
know.
Sutomu, his episode was good because the entire time he's like, man, it's like, I've worked hard. People only value me for my like brains and they like leave me in the dust. Taichi has everything, this and that. Like he's so like he doesn't even really try. Like and then like he's like his only identity, his only value is to that fucking desk so much that he's like clinging to it and picking it up when Chihaya picks him up. But then I love the end of that episode because Taichi picks up the desk and throws it. And he's like, I don't want anybody who's talented to join our club. I want people who want to put the work in on the tatami mat. And it
and then what do he has the moment where he like he realizes that like because he's like number 1, but then he realizes that like even if he gets number 1 by studying, like it's no one else, like he's already like his classmates already just like, hey, your notes are really good, bye, like they don't interact with him at all, like but so he just like he decides to go to the club because like that might actually he won't just be lonely the whole fucking time,
And he's so good too because there's that like his first tournament where he's like getting his ass kicked and he's like he feels like he's the one bringing them all down. He's like, can I just go study now because I'm a liability. But then that like destroys their like team dynamic and then he comes back and Chihaya's like losing to Pseudo and he's like, do it, you can do it, and he's like cheering for her and then she wins and it's like they're all happy and crying and shit. It's so good. No, wait, it wasn't against Pseudo. It was against it was against a team of chicks who were just screaming the entire time. And it's
because that was the one where because he was playing during the last match.
Yeah, but it was so good because his entire thing, right, is like when he plays against Kana, it's so like he like
they're Matt like the one. Yes, that was a good match.
God, do they fuck?
I loved Chihaya's
No
face
comment.
when she realized she wasn't watching.
That was so funny.
Nishida and Taichi because they're of course at a higher level of play. And
but she was learning from the fact that she was learning love from these people who are new, which is so good. And
well, that's one of the things. Like I kind of mentioned this. I think it was on the Vloshri, the Naruto EWB, where like part of the thing is like getting new people into anime can potentially bring new perspectives in, and that's what you really see that with Kana and Tsutomu because they are these complete outsiders to to competitive Karuta, I should say, because Kana obviously knew a lot about more about Karuta than Chihaya in some ways. But because Tsutomu has all this data and stuff. Like after they find out that Suo is like, I have a 28 one-syllable cards.
Oh my god, that line was
good.
so good because Chihaya was like crushed. She's like, "There's no way I'll win," and then the very next day, he's like, "Chihaya, you have 20 words," and she's like, "What?" And he's like, "You have 21 syllable words," and then she just starts reading it in the hallway, and she's like, she's learning this from their friends, and it's so good. God.
Yeah, and right, because of their unique perspectives and the fact that they're these outsiders, they completely come up with these new ways to like learn and play Karuta, and it's so cool. It's so good. They're, like the dynamic between the group and like what they all offer is just they're all like, well, and that's, I should have talked about this earlier, because one of the other things I like about Karuta is that, like, this is a sport where one match can have Chihaya against a literal, like, fucking 12-year-old after she's just had a match against, like, you know, someone who's, like, in her 40s, and then, like, in a different tournament, she can go up against her sensei Haruta, who's, like, 60 years old, and, like, age and gender kind of like obviously they do matter for the queen and master matches, but like generally speaking, like Connie even says, this is a sport where boys compete against girls, and you don't really see that a lot in sports, and which is another really unique thing that Karuta kind of brings to the table that I really appreciate.
Sports where men could just fucking beat the shit out of women. What?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Well, because like in the master matches, like they play 5 games where the queen only plays 3 games. So it's like, yeah, the guys are expected to have more stamina and just physical ability. But it's a fictional show, and they even point out that like, Shinobu might be stronger than Suo. But then at the same time, like, wait, there's a moment during the match where Shinobu loses her balance because Suo hits her with a card from behind the whole time she's playing, he's matching her score. Because he's a fucking asshole.
He's a piece of shit, dude. It's funny.
I love him.
No, it's so good how, like, because that's the thing. Is that I kind of want to, like, that's why I kind of want to make that video about, like, the overvalue of hard work in media. Where it's like, the hard work isn't the show is not about the hard work. It's about what the hard work entails, right? Like, there's that whole thing with Taichi where it's so good, where it's like, he doesn't understand why why certain people are like crying and shit like that, you know, like why they're like, but he's like, I don't have the right to cry about it. I don't have the right to feel this frustrated until that one match where he realized that he really wanted to win, right? It's like, and they just fucking bawling. It's so good. Like, it's just, it's so good, right? And there's that one, like, for example, when, I forgot. God, I'm blanking on his fucking name. But like one of the people at their society, like after he like lost in the master qualifier.
I here. Look, I don't remember his name either. He's pretty minor, but I know you're talking. He's like one of the best like players in the society next to Haruta. Yeah, right, exactly.
And like he lost that match, the qualifier. At first he's like fine, but then when Haruta fucking like hugs him and he realizes,
he thinks back to the like, oh, it's always been my dream for someone for our society to become a master, and then he's like, oh shit, I failed hard, and then that's when he loses it, and
it's so fucking good. And I like how every single aspect of this show is tied to that inherent love for something else that nobody else understands, that passion that nobody else has. And it's fucking shit. I just said the word passion. And it's, I was just gonna say, like, I like Hyoro Retro, the fucking loser, especially for stuff that happens later. But like, in season 1, he's like, I love the gag where like there's we can't go to this tournament, and then Taichi just goes to the tournament, and Nishida's there, and then in the background you see Retro, and he just looks up and sees them both. And he's like, ah, shit, like they're all there. They're just bunch of fucking losers, man. It's so funny. God.
And yeah, I like Miyochi Sensei, the Empress, who
she's so good. Okay, in the last episode when they're because I like that episode where it's like they're at first she's like, I'm not gonna go. They're probably just gonna be fucking around some festival or something. And then she sees the fucking work they're putting in, and she's like, damn, you know, like, and she's like, you know what, I'm gonna go after all. This fucking and she starts learning the poem. She starts getting super into it, and then in the last episode, she's like she's putting her fist down for the Karuta Club because she knows they need a soundproof environment away from like a lot of noise, and like it was so good when she's like, you guys don't understand. They're a sport just like anybody else, and it's like because they're all like, it's just a little art, you know. Why do they need that much room? She's like, no, fuck. They went to nationals, all right? They're fucking good. And then, like, the last episode when she has put out the poster again, and then she's like, why are you embarrassing yourself? And then as she's walking away, she's like, you need to put one more poster there, by the way. It was so good. Well, there was one thing, right? What I wanted to say. I was gonna make a joke about the Craftsdwarf episode, but I don't want to talk about the Craftsdwarf episode because I know it's gonna end up on the Out of Context Weeb Club. Because me and Vindy talked about the funny meme, but I want to say it. I don't want to say it because it'll end up on the Out of Context.
Why? Kids crying?
Vindy, you want to say it? You want to say it, Vindy?
Yeah, Craftsdwarf, you like that the kid has a fatter ass than Chihaya does.
I didn't notice, Vindy.
Yeah, okay.
Well, yeah, okay. Like, God, what was it? I like how, like...
I noticed she had fatter ears, because that was a big fucking point, but anyway, go on.
Shinobu was
Today
like...
I found out Craftsdwarf had an ear fetish.
Shinobu...
I fucking hate
I like how Shinobu was madder after playing Chihaya than anybody else that she didn't see her play the show. Like, she was mad, and she, like, walked up to the thing, was, like, looking at her name, like, I'm gonna fucking kill you, I'm gonna fucking, ooh.
Oh, I love the part, I forget, I think after Chihaya takes her first card, Shinobu takes another one, and she just makes this fucking face, where she just gives this evil fucking smile, and she's so stupid, and I love her.
But I like the literal second after, Chihaya's like, wait, you like Snowmaru too? And also she's fucking like, oh, you know who this is?
Yes, they're so stupid.
It's so funny, because, oh my god. God, I can't wait till Chihaya has 25, that's like 50 one-syllable cards. That'd be fucking epic. Uh-oh, silence is not good. Silence is not good at all.
I think I don't have that much more to say.
There was something I wanted to say. I'm trying to think about what it is.
Did we talk about Taichi a lot?
We talked about Taichi a lot.
Okay.
We didn't talk about enough about Arata, I don't think. Cause like,
well, I mean, he's not as much there in the show. I mean, we talked about how good the first 3 episodes were, but I don't think we went into specifics because that was during the non-spoiler parts.
There's something interesting, like you know when she's talking about the meanings of the poems, right? And Chihaya specifically mentions that Arata's favorite poem is not can be interpreted not as romantic love, right? It's like, she says, I don't think it's a love poem. Which is interesting to keep in mind, fellas and friends and family and friends and, you know? It's interesting to keep in mind.
Though, what you reminded me of is, like, one episode I like when the birthday happens, Chihaya's birthday happens, and they just, like, pull the surprise party on her. That was good. And I also thought about, like, when they were at their, like, individual Christmas things, and they're, like, thinking, like, you know, this is cool, but friendship... like they just kind of wish that they were with their each other, even though they're so
yeah,
they're just a good bunch of idiots and I love them.
They're so good together, and like the way they're like building up each other. Like I like how that was what it is. So Arata's interesting because like there's that one that like as he's coming back, he's like, I ran away from Karuta when all these other people stayed. Right, and it's like I loved it so much. Why didn't I stay? But there's like something interesting. Like what he says to Taichi in the last episode is so good. Right, he's like, my dad told me that you don't need game sense to be good at Karuta.
Yeah, you just need to be faster.
Or there's certain other things you could do to be faster.
Right.
And it was like, and that's when Taichi's like, it's time to fuck with people. But it's so good that these people are finding ways that work around their weaknesses and stuff, and and every single mental block that they have that's preventing them from doing things is entirely tied to that love or these preconceptions that they have regarding it. It's so good. Ooh.
I'm definitely looking forward to you guys finishing your watch and then reading the manga, because I need to read the manga and catch up myself. There hasn't been a new chapter translated in 8 months, and I heard people have been mad about it. My assumption is that they don't like the way that the shipping is going, basically.
People are never happy about fucking ships.
No, that's because obviously the big thing with the series is the love triangle, and I don't.
Everyone self-inserts as Arata because they're all stupid, dumb nerds and don't know what it's like to be a Chad man who the Christmas party he goes to is just a bunch of girls screaming about him being there.
fucking rused him, and because he doesn't give a shit. He wants Chihaya, so
He sees that flat ass. He's like, yeah.
It's like, I can't wait to slap that flat ass and make it even flatter, you know?
He hears that Chihayafuru card hit, and he's like, yeah. Okay. Are we good? Is that?
Yeah, I don't really have much.
There's one thing I want to say after spoilers, so that if somebody skips to it, we can just I can just mention.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, let's get on final thoughts, but you can say your thing.
So for final thoughts, what I want to do eventually, we've been talking about this, but eventually we were planning on doing if we talk about an entire series, just a podcast talking about an entire series, right? Like me and Vinny have been talking about the Sword Art Online discussion, or if this motherfucker ever watches Over the Rainbow, we can have a Love Live discussion.
Yeah, you hear that, Craftsdwarf? You're supposed to watch Over the
Shut
Rainbow.
up! He's the one who gave me the fucking rips for the fucking. Oh, I hate you, Vindy. Oh,
I have it downloaded too. Doesn't mean I've seen it.
Yeah, I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna kill you.
Scumbag Vindy's just been
Scumbag
on his
Vindy.
phone dicking around for half an hour.
Yeah, I know.
do
He
you
doesn't give a
mean?
shit about the discussion. He doesn't like us. He
That's
hates
not
us.
true. I haven't been on my phone at all.
Vindy says friendship is shit.
Every
hate
time I
these
try to
fuckers.
talk about Tai Chi, y'all interrupted me, so I gave up.
Oh.
I literally asked you at some point. I said,
Yeah, I know, and then I started talking and one interrupted me. So I gave up. I don't care anymore.
Oh, very unfortunate. I'm sorry. I got very excited. But yeah.
No, it's fine. I'm not upset about it.
Well, maybe we could talk about Chihayafuru again if we all watch the anime, and we could
well,
have
if you guys watch it, season 2 will be less fresh in my mind, but I did just watch season 3, so
yeah. But that's the thing, though. Maybe eventually, if we get a certain number of subscribers or a certain number of patrons, we can start doing more things like that. You know?
Patreon.com/Weeb Club.
All right.
Give us your money for more content.
So, Craftsdwarf, want to tell us why you gave the anime a 10?
Yeah, because I've also liked it for. I think I watched it in 2012, so it's a favorite that I've had as a favorite for 8 years. It's just I remember one of my reasons that I was I had Ping Pong the animation as a 10, but I think about Chihayafuru more. So it's so why is Ping Pong a 10 when I obviously have this different, and yeah, I have a personal investment in it. I love a lot about the series. I love all the characters, not even just the main 5, there's a bunch of other characters that have great moments too, especially some yet to come. So yeah, I just have this long history with long personal history with it, and I think it's really good. And I every episode of season 3, I was super into it and super excited on even though it was material I've already seen. Rewatching it, I enjoyed the hell out of every episode. The series is just constant enjoyment, basically. That's just it with personal investment. So yeah, 10. What else can I give it? Vindy.
I've been going back and forth between giving the first season an 8 or a 9 because, I definitely like it a lot, and there's a lot of stuff I like. But again, my problem is trying to rate it is that, if I'm trying to rate this anime season as, a complete... You know what I mean? It's obviously not complete, but the ending didn't leave me, satisfied, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But, that's not the fault of the season because, obviously, right, there's more... there, so I'd probably give it a 9, but I think it's a 9 with the idea that the series as a whole is a 9, not necessarily that just the first season is a 9.
Or that the first season would become a 9 if you looking back after you've watched the whole watched more Red Boar,
yeah. When I can feel more satisfied with everything I've seen as opposed to being there and being yeah, this was really good.
Tentative 9 basically.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. What?
9 out of 10. It's the literal only thing that I think is stopping me right now is me determining whether or not is this really a show that I would give a 10 out of 10 to, where it's I don't, it's definitely, I've been thinking about it because again I have to rethink my thoughts on something like Sodayori, where it's after a while I've been thinking,
I watched it, I rewatched it already and I liked it more, so if it, it's only 12 episodes too, so it's not that bad of a rewatch, where Chihayafuru is 70 episodes, so good luck.
Yeah, but it's kind of one of those things where it's I have to sit there and absorb it and think it, but definitely the fact that the series is not complete as of season 1, especially the way it leads off, is it's not getting any higher than a 9 right now. But that's it's a 9 for me. You know? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, next.
So yeah, I think this is the most we've enjoyed something since like Place Further in the Universe. Like
Yeah, because you hate Gurren Lagann. Except
Yeah,
for
fuck you. I hate you. I hate you.
I don't. Okay.
Good on Logon though. You guys had to stop me from talking. So that was something.
Yeah,
else.
I was actually expecting this one to be longer, but Finny got sad.
Well,
so.
because eventually,
I'm not even upset
at
about
a certain,
it.
I
I wasn't gonna say anything about it ever, and then y'all were like, "Scumbag Vindy doesn't care about the discussion." And it's like, well, y'all were probably having a better discussion without me interrupting, so I just didn't care.
Very
well,
sad.
I wanted to hear what you had to say about Taichi, but you got emo. So
I'm not emo about it.
you're very sad, Vindy. Just admit your feelings. Stop with the toxic
Craftsdwarf,
masculinity.
did you hear this man crying in the background? Did you hear him
I
sniffling?
got so
He was crying the whole time we were talking. Like we were like, "Oh man, Chihaya, I want to fuck Chihaya," and he's just like, "I want to talk about
crying
fucking
because I
Chihaya
can't fuck
too."
Taichi because I love him so much.
Oh. So next time we're talking about Ichigo 100%'s anime.
Oh, let's go.
Never actually.
Finally,
That's never
some
gonna
real
fucking
fucking
happen.
food.
That will that will never happen.
Satsuki.
That's never gonna
Satsuki.
happen. You're gonna have to patron that shit for that to happen. No. No.
I mean, that is like the best part of the series, to be fair.
Don't joke.
Like the
about that
earlier
shit.
parts, I mean.
There's no good parts about this series. Don't fucking joke with me about that.
What you were like, this is kind of mid. I'm kind of having trouble reading more of it because like the themes are good, but there's too many
Could
panty
you shut the fuck up?
shots.
Could you shut the fuck up? Could you shut the fuck up? Could you shut the fuck up? Thank you.
Well, what the
Fucking
what?
exposed.
Well,
Ichigo
next.
100% would be better if
It had Ichigo from Bleach and Ichigo from Aikatsu.
That would.
yes.
Yeah, actually, unironically, it'd be
And we
better.
gotta see Ichigo from Bleach his panty shots.
make the dude an idol.
Female Ichigo is literally just Karen, and you know.
No, I don't want female Ichigo.
Yeah, keep him like dude and make him like an idol.
So
Not a
thank
male
you guys
idol.
for
I mean like
watching the
frilly
Weeb
dresses
Club podcast.
and
Next week we're
a
talking.
sword.
Next time we're talking about Monthly Girls with Zaki-kun. I can't wait to downgrade from Chihayafuru to that.
I hope I like it.
I hope it's at least. I think I said this to Vinny. I was like, I bet you once we watch it, it's gonna cap out at an 8. Like the best it's gonna be is an 8.
I've seen it at a distance, and like I haven't watched any videos on it, but it definitely like for some reason like just the fact that it's like popular, like something about it just makes me look at it like yeah, that's an 8 at best. Like,
Yeah, no, hard is gonna be like a hard 8 at best.
but again, I think I thought that about Origairu too, and I think I gave season 2 of that a 9. So, or maybe I did give it an 8. I don't remember, but it's
Oh, we need to talk about
it's
that.
still
We need to
it's
talk
still
about
really
that.
good. So
Yeah. So anyway,
But,
thanks for watching, boys.
Bye. See y'all.
goodbye.
I'm gay.
We know it's okay.